I think most people are looking at the GMWD V8 the wrong way. Not because they're wrong about its flaws. I actually agree with most of them. They're just asking a very different question than I am. You see, I wasn't looking for the perfect 4-in-1 pressing machine. I only needed 2 of the 4 stated movements for me to justify owning it. What I wanted was a machine that allowed me to adjust it in seconds, that allowed me to jump easily into a workout, and took a little stress off my joints. So my question wasn't, is this the perfect machine? It was, does this do what I need it to do? The answer might surprise you. It surprised me. Let's get into it. Hey guys, Chris here with Strength and Steel Reviews. I'm a father, certified personal trainer, and a home gym equipment reviewer. I am no engineer. I'm just a guy who trains hard, values efficiency, and tries to be honest about every piece of equipment that arrives in insanely large boxes before his garage door. That's right, just in here doing my best. And if for whatever reason you decide you want more of this, support me by joining my members only channel, also known as the Fellowship of Steel. It is newly revived, newly resurrected. It's literally $2 a month, at least for the time being. So if you want more of this, go there. But all right, today we're reviewing the highly prized and hyper-hyped GMWD V8 4-in-1 pressing machine. A lot of letters and numbers there. Up front, GMWD sent this to me for free, but they haven't directed this review in any way, literally zero. So if for whatever reason you don't believe me, that's on you, because I'm telling you the truth. And if by the end of this video you're interested in the GMWD 4-in-1 pressing machine, there's an affiliate link below in the description. If you buy it through that link, you support your boy. And if you do, your boy says thank you. Imagine me saying it just like that. Thank you. All right, so I was legitimately stoked to receive the V8. Believe it or not, I'm not that way about most pieces of equipment anymore, but I genuinely was about this one. I actually had to personally reach out to GMWD because apparently I'm not popular enough or not cool enough for them to reach out to me, but thankfully I have no shame. And so despite my apparent desperation, or at least my poorly hid desperation, they agreed to send me the V8 in red of all colors, which is absolutely epic and awesome because it works with my logo. Needless to say, I was very excited because for me, this machine checked almost every box, theoretically. Since getting older, and especially since becoming a father, I've really come to value machines that allow me to get right to work, still train hard, and preserve my joints. So in my mind, if the V8 could deliver on the incline and shoulder press, it was going to be a winner for me. My only real concern was the range of motion. I knew the design came with compromises, but I hoped that it would still be good enough. So the question is, did that hope pay off? Well, it's definitely a mixed bag, but overall, I think this thing earned its place in my gym. So how did it earn its place? Well, let's start off with the good news. Let's start all bright and shiny. The V8 is incredibly convenient to use. GMWD absolutely understood that part of the assignment. Sliding the bench forward and backward is incredibly easy. Raising and lowering the carriage with the hydraulic lift is super simple, and changing between movements takes very little time. After a handful of workouts, everything, to me at least, became pretty easily understood. It might look like a really complex machine, but it really isn't, which is fantastic for a Luddite like me. Now, is it perfect? No, not quite. You're not perfect. I'm certainly not. Aragorn probably is, but the GMWD V8 is not. It's like us. Why, you ask? Well, once you've loaded the plates with sleeves, raising the carriage still takes more effort than I would like. The hydraulics definitely help, but they don't magically cancel out all of that weight. So you've got to apply a little bit of that old dad strength to get her moving. It's not the end of the world, but it is not as easy as you might dream it to be. Then there's also the matter of positioning yourself for the adjustment. So if you don't have it set up against a wall, this will be much easier. But if you do have it posted up against a wall, like I do, and like I would imagine many of you will, you're going to have to step in between the handles, or you're gonna have to reach awkwardly around in order to raise the carriage. It's kind of a tight squeeze if you're going in. It's what I do. So far, it's not been a great issue for me. It is a slight irritation. You're always going to wish it was easier, but it isn't the end of the world. I also ended up adding my own labels to the front of the center upright. GMWD has laser etched the adjustments on the back, but since my machine, like I said, sits against the wall, or in this case, a garage door, I got tired of awkwardly twisting around every time I made an adjustment so I could see where it should be positioned. It is not a deal breaker, but man, front-facing markings would have been a nice quality of life improvement. I wish they were there. Beyond that, there are a few other little things that I change. The vinyl indeed is a little cheap. I'm not a pad snob, I've discussed that before. I don't mind it, but if vinyl and padding matters a lot to you, you're not gonna be super impressed here. Also, if you don't like seat gaps, there's definitely a seat gap. It doesn't bother me, but again, I am a very simple man, and the rotating handles use stickers instead of laser engraved markings. I'll come back to that later. That is kind of annoying, and I wish they didn't do that. Yeah, so overall, the adjustment system is pretty easy. You get used to it. You're gonna have your own process depending on where you place this machine in your gym, but do decide where you're going to place it and what your process is going to look like, because to me, a machine like this is based around convenience. I'm only using 2 of the stated movements, so I'm only transitioning really between those 2 movements. So where I have it set up in my gym and what that process looks like is kind of dependent upon that. But okay, speaking of the movements, why don't we start our ranking? Let's rank them from best to worst, in my opinion. Thankfully, the movement that this machine does best also happens to be the one that I cared the most about, and that would be the incline press. Of the 2 incline settings, I prefer the 45-degree position because it offers the best range of motion, but the 30-degree setting feels really good and comes in at a close second. Truthfully, I like having access to both options. I think that's fantastic. I'm just gonna be rotating them out every couple months, maybe every other month. And listen, man, I had my doubts, but this weird converging scissor arm pressing path kind of thing creates an incredible contraction at the top of each rep. The contraction feels really good, and refreshingly, it feels noticeably different from like a traditional plate-loaded press or just a barbell press. And so far, I'm really enjoying that difference. I like how mechanically guided it is because it enables me to really focus in on my upper chest, which is exactly what I want. That said, do I wish that the range of motion went a little bit deeper? Absolutely. I think both Gluck and Coop were completely fair in criticizing the range of motion, but at the incline position, it is at its best, and to me, its best is pretty darn good. Now, the number 2 ranked exercise is thankfully my number 2 most desired movement, and that would be the shoulder press. This one was actually a pleasant surprise because I did not feel like the reviews that I was seeing were properly cataloging exactly what the range of motion looked like and felt like, so I had my doubts. Again, certainly more so than the incline press. I wish there was just like a little more range at the bottom, a little more stretch, but after playing around with the bench position and these handle angles, I've definitely found a setup that feels natural, maybe not optimal, but good enough that I want to use it. I want to use it every week. These rotating handles deserve a lot of the credit. I keep them facing straight forward and it feels great with my shoulders. I don't have bad shoulders, but if you've got cranky shoulders or slightly irritable shoulders, I think being able to manipulate the handle position will be really useful. But yeah, these stickers, they do feel really dumb. I feel like they should have been laser engraved. A lot about this machine feels like premium, sort of shortcut right there. Yeah, I don't like that, and it's also kind of confusing. It doesn't help if you're adjusting on the fly. But overall, once I got everything dialed in here for the shoulder press, I have really come to enjoy pressing with this unit. It's the second reason why I bought this machine, and it's the second reason why it's probably gonna stay. And number 3 would be the flat press. The flat press is good, or maybe okay would be a better description for it. It's perfectly usable, but the bottom end range of motion is still much shorter than I would personally like. And the decline press is just not good. I think that's been well documented in other reviews, and I think the criticism is completely fair. If the end range for the flat press is mediocre, then it's straight bad with the decline press. To me though, this is the trade-off that you make with a multifunctional machine. There's always going to be 1 or 2 movements that are technically included, but feel more like marketing afterthoughts than exercises that you would actually use. And like I said earlier, or at least I think I said earlier, I'm not really decline pressing, and I'm not really flat pressing that much anymore anyway. That incline press, at least for me and for most people, is going to do most of what you actually require. That said, GMWD definitely deserves some heat for this because it still only performs half of the 4 stated movements, and a lot of people are going to be disappointed. I don't blame a consumer who wants it to perform all 4 optimally, and it just doesn't. Coop from Garage Gym Reviews did have one hack that I genuinely think is brilliant for the right person. He removed the stock bench, which I'm sitting on, and he used his own adjustable bench. He slid it right in there. It's pretty cool, it's smart, it solves a lot of those range of motion limitations depending on the bench that you own. But for me, that almost defeats the entire purpose of owning this machine. For me, I'm not looking to incorporate my bench. I don't want to line it up. I don't want to have to worry about sliding it over. I just wanted a dedicated station that I could sit down, make a couple of adjustments, and use. That's what I wanted. That's what I was seeking. So that hack doesn't really work for me, but for the right person, it could prove useful. But okay, here's a good question. Who is this machine actually for? Well, if you're looking for one machine that performs all 4 pressing movements at a high level, at an elite level, I don't think this machine is for you. This is not your answer. At around $1,200, I completely understand why some people would expect and want more. But if you are primarily looking for an excellent incline press, a very good shoulder press, minimal setup, and a machine that gets you training almost immediately, this thing starts to make a whole lot more sense for the right person. Anyway, that's it for the review, my friends. If you're a father with minimal time, an arsenal of abandoned home gym equipment that you're tired of ashamedly walking by, and you have the desire to lose 15 to 25 pounds in 90 days, apply for my personal training below or download my free Dad Rebuild Blueprint below. Yes, it is free, to get an idea of how I would help you get there. And let me know in the comments if you've tried the V8 or if there's another multifunctional pressing machine that I should check out, that I should research, that I should learn about. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe for more reviews by your boy, a dad, a trainer, a guy who loves working out, a guy who appreciates good equipment. And as always, you stay strong, you stay steely, and I will catch you in the next one. Adios.